be starting shortly. Bear with me one moment. Alright, so I just sort of randomly decided to take a look at Michael Khoury's Twitter Files 2.0 thread. It's a pretty lengthy thread and has a lot of documentation. So I decided to go ahead and just review it live because why not? So he starts off here, very first part. What if I told you there's a literal shadow war going on in cyberspace right now between several former and current presidents working against the best interests of we the people, and there's data, contracts, and concrete evidence to prove it all? I don't know, what if you told us? So, January 19th, 2014, Obama compared Al-Qaeda to the JV team. Oh yeah, I gotta be careful about certain words. Even saying the names of certain organizations, you have to be careful though to YouTube, so be mindful. This statement is made just 2 days after January 17, 2014, where Obama announced moving all Americans' phone records from the NSA to a trusted third party, which is Neustar. So what would that mean if 2 days after our phone records are moved to this company called Neustar, Obama would liken a horrible group to a quote-unquote JV team? So we're showing this graphic from the New Yorker. Annals of Presidency, January 27th, 2014, going the distance, on and off the road with Barack Obama. Okay. So then we have this quote by New Yorker magazine. The analogy we use around here sometimes, and I think it's accurate, is if a JV team puts on Lakers uniforms and that doesn't make them Kobe Bryant. That's interesting. So you can find additional context for that quote. Coincidentally, JV team is a LLC formed by Melbourne IT, a public Australian company, and Neustar, United States corporation. That is really coincidental. So JV Team is an actual organization, but just by coincidence, Limited Liability Corporation. And it's formed by Neustar, in essence, along with Melbourne IT. So Neustar, Melbourne, Ericsson equals JV Team LLC. This is Ericsson, I presume Australia, leads to JV Team LLC. And in cooperation with that, he has Five Eye Relay. You know, you have the Five Eye Nations. So Australia is one of the Five Eye Nations, along with the US and UK. Let me see if I can find this quote here. Let's see. It's on another tab. Let's use that one. So there's like a fact check article on Obama talking about this. Let's see. Let's do that there. fact check article. Obama fumbles JV team questions. This was September 9th, 2014. It's a much different time period. This is January 2014. Oops. Those are all the articles we have. It was like something from September talking about him fumbling a JV team question. Okay, so we have this. White House insists Obama didn't dismiss ISIL as the JV team. Following recent territorial gains by the Jihad, affiliated with the group of the ISIL state, conservatives have criticized Obama for a January interview with the New Yorker in which he seemed to dismiss the group as a JV team. In a briefing Monday, White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest rejected this interpretation of the president's remarks and attempted to clarify them. It's important that we don't sort of shorthand the analogy the president is trying to draw here. When asked about the interview, Earnest produced a copy of the president's comments, which he then read in full. Earnest said he expected he would get a question about the JV team remark. In the published version of the interview, New Yorker editor David Renmick, who spoke with Obama, framed the comment as being an assessment of the jihadist groups in Iraq among various rebel factions in Syria and in parts of Africa. Renmick also described Obama's use of high school sports terminology to describe the group as an uncharacteristically flip analogy. The analogy we use around here sometimes I think is accurate, is if the JV team puts on Lakers uniforms, it doesn't make them Kobe Bryant. Obama said, I think there is distinction between the capacity and the reach of bin Laden and a network that's actively planning major terrorist plots against the homeland versus the jihadists who engaged in various local power struggles and disputes, often sectarian. So Earnest stressed that Obama was talking about multiple groups, including the ISIL state. He also said that the president was trying to highlight the different compatibility of these groups and the al-Qaeda under Osama bin who Earnest described as being decimated by the Obama administration. There is a different threat that exists and that continues to pose a threat to American national security, and this is the wider range of these organizations, some of whom do not have designs on attacking the West or attacking American homeland. Not only do they not have designs, the vast majority of them do not have the designs on attacking the West. They certainly don't have the capability of doing that. What Osama bin, who presided over was an international network of trained, sophisticated, bad people that were capable of carrying out bad attacks in the homeland. While I said the president viewed the state as lacking the capabilities of al-Qaeda at its height, Earnest said the White House was concerned about the group. Earnest said in fact, many members of the state have Western passports as a threat. We want to make sure that we confront this before it gets worse. So I don't think this article really answers or justifies in any way Obama's remarks. Kind of a lot of it was hoopla and gobbledygook there. Okay, let's continue on. So it could be that this is like a terminology, some kind of coded terminology that Obama's using, JV team. So we'll keep going here, following with Michael. So he shows us this screenshot: neutrality in a competitive environment. Neutrality is for us is not platitude, it's our identity, conveying impeccable, high quality, even-handed service essential to the central role we play in industry. We will process extremely sensitive and proprietary data to the highest security and confidentiality standards. We will not provide registrar services in competition with our customers. JV team is committed to the promotion of competition at the registry level, and its goal is equitable treatment of all our registrars. Our previous experience as a registrar provides us with registrar perspective. We understand their needs, concerns, and issues. This understanding clarifies our responsibility to act in strict adherence to the principles of a neutral third party. All of our services will be available to all registrars on non-disciplinary teams. The JV team code of conduct that we have developed and by which we abide. JV intends to maximize our strengths. Okay. So that's like information about the company. It was formed September 21st, 2000. And they say that for as far as this limited liability company structure, 55% is owned by New Star and 45% by this Melbourne company. All right. That's proof of ownership there. So we have the past business operations entity history, RFP section D13 1.3. Former alliances, Vario Inc., Ericsson Australia. So it just says JV team fuses the DNS management expertise, registry operation experience, technical database management capabilities of its parent companies and is dedicated to ensuring the stability of the internet by providing a new generation of high-quality registry services, incorporating new features and functions benefit to the end user. So to that end of what's described in JV team, they described to have an alliance with Vario Inc., Ericsson, DNS, Digital Envoy Inc., and eSign. So that's a connection between like Ericsson and JV team. Okay. Stated ICANN data formation, September 21st, 2000. So why does the state of Delaware show a different corporation date? See, look at that there. More about JV Team LLC. So we have an archive.icann reference here. So the state of Delaware. This is not a statement of good standing. I've got JV Team LLC. Okay, yeah, the incorporation date's 4/8/2009 there. So you see that. All right, that's noted. Ericsson was abiding, bribing, and funding Al-Qaeda, JV team, greater than ISIL over the last 17 plus years. Let's put this as the title of the video. Telecoms used to control these choke points to take over territory. Ericsson provided this to the bad people. So seeing this substantiation, this is important. And I think this is the information that our Congress is aware of and that they may possibly be taking action on at some point. So we'll see. I guess first they have to elect a House Speaker first. We're actually in the midst of a historic situation in the House of Representatives where there's difficulty in getting a Republican speaker, even though we have a Republican majority, because of not a lack of confidence in the previous majority leader, Kevin McCarthy. So far he has, I believe, lost 6 votes. And so we're just basically creating history because the last time that has happened was 1923, exactly 100 years ago. So I was speculating this privately that this might be an example of the 100-year cycle. You know how the last plague was like around 1917 or so, or 1918. It was a really big plague, probably quite a bit worse than the most recent one that we went through as a world. Yeah, so just a couple of years later, you know, they had this problem with the House of Representatives. Now we're having the same problem. It's a really interesting coincidence there. I digress. The group changed its name to the state of Iraq and Syria in 2013. So you see this. Not sure if that's a Photoshop or what's going on here, but I think it's probably Photoshop. On June 29th, ISIL leader Abu Bakr of al-Baghdadi announced the formation of the caliphate stretching from Aleppo to Syria and Diana in Iraq, and renamed the group the state. Through American defense contractors tech winding up in the hands of ISIL, JV team moved up to varsity. So we have this clip here. Hope it's okay for YouTube. I haven't actually listened to it first.
الله أكبر عليك جبهة الشيخ عقيل. الله أكبر.
Oh, okay. So they're saying that kind of thing. let's just kind of scroll through this here, see what this looks like. Okay, so you have that at the end there. So we have the caliphate form in Syria. I'm not sure what this statement means about the American defense contractors tech winding up in the hands of ISIL. Like the implication is that is the responsibility of JV team, but that's what I'm not really sure about. But we'll see how that gets expanded on. By December 2017, the ISIL Caliphate had lost 95% of its territory, including the two biggest properties, Mosul, Iraq's second largest city, and the northern Syrian city of Raqqa, its nominal capital. Through the trumpet men is found their proper placement back on the bench. So that means the Caliphate regained. Well, let's see. The state known as ISIL emerged from the remnants of Al-Qaeda in Iraq, a local offshoot of Al-Qaeda founded by Abu Musab Khoury in 2004. It faded into obscurity by several years after the surge of U.S. troops to Iraq in 2007, but it began to reemerge in 2011. Over the next few years, it took advantage of the growing instability in Iraq and Syria to carry out attacks and bolster its ranks. The group changed its name to the State of Iraq and Syria, and so that gives you that abbreviation there. In 2013, the state launched an offensive on Mosul and Tikrit in 2014. Leader Baghdadi announced formation of the Caliphate stretching from Aleppo in Iraq and renamed the group the State. Okay, so that tells us about how that was formed. In 2015, they expanded to a network of affiliates in at least 8 other countries. The branch's supporters and affiliates carried out attacks beyond the borders. In October, Egypt affiliate bombarded a Russian airplane, losing the lives of many people, 224. 130 people lost their lives, and more than 300 were injured in a series of attacks in Paris. And in 2016, a gunman pledged support the group. The state killed at least 4 dozen people in a nightclub in Orlando, Florida. Oh, is this the Pulse issue? I forgot about that. Or was it a different one? I don't know. I might have to review that. Just going to briefly take a look at the chat. This is a live stream here. So I'm looking at the YouTube chat here. So let's see. Julie says, why not? Thanks, Spirit. Luke says, howdy. Hey, how's it going? He said, spoke with MK today. He sent me this after our chat. I'm happy you're doing your breakdown on it. Thank you. Kathleen says, good evening, brothers and sisters. All right. Hey, guys. So we'll continue here. So we have this screenshot here by OIR spokesperson. ISIL lost nearly all of the territory they once had. More than 7.7 million are now free, but this does not mark the end of the campaign. We know this enemy is as adaptive and as savvy as it is cruel and evil. We will continue our support and our partners and keep pressure on this group. This is December 19, 2017. So it says, by December 2017, the Caliphate had lost a lot of its territory, including its 2 biggest properties. Iraq's second largest city, Mosul, and the northern Syrian city. Al-Badi declared victory over the state, but the state is still inspiring and carrying out attacks all over the world, including New York. Could the company be the answer to Obama's big data problem? The idea is that an outside party with no allegiance to the government or the company will likely to adhere to strict. So the idea is that an outside party with no allegiance to the government or the company will be more likely to adhere strictly to the law and only give over that information that's being requested and nothing more. Yes. Could this company be an answer to the big data problem? So President Obama announced Friday, this article is from January 2014, that a huge database of all Americans' phone records will be moved out of the National Security Agency, where it's currently stored, and kept either with phone companies or a third party. This won't be simple, Obama warned. The approach would be more expensive and legally ambiguous than if the government held the records, and it could raise a host of new privacy concerns, the president said. So he posts this document. Who would want or even be capable of such a job? Meet Neustar, a company most people have probably never heard of, but have almost certainly dealt with in some form, even if they didn't know it. If you changed cell phone carriers and wanted to keep your old number, Neustar ported it over from one carrier to another. So I think many of us have done that. So Neustar was involved in that process, apparently. To do that, it keeps a record of all cell phone numbers in the U.S. The company also acts as a kind of middleman between law enforcement agencies serving surveillance warrants on telephone companies, ensuring that the companies only give over the amount of information that they're legally required to disclose. So it's almost like a government organization when you think about it. I mean, it's not, it's a company, but it's taking some type of governmental role in a sense by governing the behavior of the telephone companies and their interaction with law enforcement. That's interesting. So third-party organization, check. Maintain huge logs of phone data, check. Field surveillance requests from government officials, check. Neustar, with its headquarters in Sterling, Virginia, and an office in downtown Washington, D.C., hasn't been contacted by anyone from the administration or the IC, nor anyone that the company discussed whether it could be a solution to the Obama administration's new big data problem. But it's absolutely not a wild and crazy idea, Rodney Jeffy, Neustar's senior vice president, told Foreign Policy. Any organization chosen to hold of Americans' phone records certainly would take some of the strengths we have. We handle very big data. We have an absolute reliability and security. Nothing's absolute in life, so this is kind of a red flag. Absolute reliability and security, sure. Neustar is not a government contractor, but as the administrator of the Number Portability Administration Center, which allows you to keep the old phone number, Neustar has the ability to neutrality regulations enforced. Neustar has to abide by these neutrality regulations enforced by the Federal Communications Commission. That means a company can't show any favor towards a company or a segment of the telecom industry. That status is an honest broker between companies and government. Will is central for whatever organization is ultimately elected to house Americans' phone records. The idea is that an outside party with no allegiance to the government or company will be more likely to adhere strictly to the law. What is the idea? Like, how is that proven that some kind of outside party with no allegiance to the government will adhere more strictly to the law? I don't see that necessarily being the case, but that's the statement here. Phone giants like Verizon, AT&T, other potential custodians have already started to push back against any attempts to make them hold on to years' worth of customer records. Yeah, so I guess that's an important point as well. How long should these phone companies be forced to hold phone data? Let's think about the costs to securely store the data and organize the data. The President's National Security Telecoms Advisory Committee, that is the NSTAC, report to the President on all big data analytics. Neustar, Rodney Joff, Ericsson, SA, Lori Hook, Subcommittee Co-Chair, Terry Claffey, Big Data Analytics WG Co-Chair. He provides a link here that goes to drive.proton.me. So click through there. Okay, so there's the report there, if you want to download it. This is an appendix here. And so he notes that the subcommittee members include this Neustar person, who's the co-chair, as well as this individual, who's the BDA working group co-chair. You see Ericsson SA. Okay, so those terms are highlighted for us. You have under President's National Security Telecoms Advisory Committee, you have Neustar as being a member. And then here are other named individuals who are all highlighted: Rodney, Ken, and Michael. So to make matters worse, they allowed the Numbers Portability Administration Center's contract to go to a foreign Swedish telecom who admitted to sponsoring, funding, and bribing ISIL for over 17 years. Report 2 en route. Here's a link to Report 1. A little worse, shall we? Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, signed into law by Bill Clinton in 98. These people are sick. And so then he has this image from Wikipedia. All right. And so the highlighted portion of this Wikipedia article on this act, the act effective April 21st, 2000 applies to the online collection of personal information by persons or entities under the U.S. jurisdiction and children under 13 years of age, including children outside the U.S. if the website or service is U.S.-based. It details what a website operator must include in their privacy policy when and how to seek verifiable consent from a parent or a guardian, and what responsibilities an operator has to protect a child's privacy and safety online, including restrictions on the marketing of those under 13. Although children under 13 can give out personal information with their parents' permission, many websites, particularly social media sites, but also other sites that collect personal info, disallow children under 13 from using their services altogether due to the cost and work involved in complying with the law. Okay, so you can look at it as kind of like a watch what your kids are doing online act. Don't let them go to certain websites if they're underage and have marketing going directly toward them. Okay, so while custody, care, and nurture of the child reside first with the parent, the protection of the physical and psychological well-being of minors by shielding them from material that is harmful to them is a compelling government interest, aka the state holds jurisdiction. So I'm looking through this. He may have gone in advance of his point because he says these people are truly sick. So I guess he's laying out the foundation here. This is just the act itself. And then okay, so then he makes this quote. He shows us this quote about their justification for the act. So let's go further here. So one highlighted port here. Sorry, I have to get closer to my screen because it's small text. Developed by the National Center for Missing Exploited Children for Citizens to report the, I don't know how to report that. I guess you might say the harms against children's innocence. The creation of a green light area within the United States country code internet domain will contain only content that is appropriate for children under the age of 13, while custody, care, and nurture of the child reside first with the parent. The protection of the physical, psychological well-being of the minor, shielding them from the material that is harmful. It's a compelling government interest. That was a quote I read to you. And then he has this boxed in green to ensure that the National Telecommunications and Information Administration oversees the creation of such a second-level domain and ensures the effective and efficient establishment of operation of the new domain. We have NTIA authority. Okay. Child-friendly second-level internet domain. Child-friendly second-level internet domain. I think maybe the key of the green box is just to note that this is the the desire and recommendation under the NTIA authority. We'll see here. 7 days before Obama gives away internet and national security, a must-read in order to better understand this threat. NTIA was the government authority over the internet and national security in cyberspace until January 6, 2017. That may have been the reason why that was highlighted. The NTIA shall require the registry selected to operate and maintain United States country code internet domain to establish, operate, and maintain a second-level domain with the United States country code domain that provides. I guess it's the idea of the authority of the NTIA to require the maintenance of the country code internet domain. So this is the case up until the 6th of 2017. 7 days before Obama gives away internet and national security. This is a Forbes article. In 1 week, President Obama will allow what remains of the United States control over the internet to pass to a California nonprofit organization, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, ICANN. This is a reckless and dangerous decision that has serious national security consequences that have not been fully considered. ICANN has a contract with the Department of Commerce's national, the NTIA basically, to manage naming and numbering functions associated with the internet. The most important of these is the assignment of the Internet Protocol address, the IP address. This is called the IANA function, Internet Assigned Numbers Authority. ICANN performs this function pursuant to its contract. Then the NTIA reviews the assignment and authorizes VeriSign to post IP addresses to the A server, the authoritative root zone server that is the master file for all IP addresses. This A server is replicated to all the other root zone servers globally on a daily basis. This is how the domain name gets online. So that's that process. I think Michael had explained this to me some months ago. Is how the internet is able to host a specific website domain name. This one here. And we see like a flow of change. Domain name, IP address assigned, NTIA reviews and authorizes, VeriSign posts. So VeriSign appears to be the final step. The integrity of every IP address for every domain name on the internet is under U.S. control and stewardship. The NTIA contract with ICANN expires in 2016, 1st of October, even though it could be extended for any period through 2019. President Obama has agreed to let the Department of Commerce hand full control over the INAA functions to ICANN. So ICANN, under Obama, becomes much more authoritative and powerful, effectively ceding the last control of the U.S. over the internet to an ambitious nonprofit organization that will have no ties to the U.S. government. Yeah, I think that sounds significant to me. Yeah, it's significant enough to be an article in Forbes. All of the following occur on January 6, 2017. The NTIA loses root zone administrator to ICANN, non-government. U.S. government oversight gone. All trust is left to private corporations and third-party CEOs with no allegiance to the United States. So you see root zone here. And you see the flow from ICANN to the NTIA to VeriSign. NTIA kind of represents the U.S. government in this. And so you see below, so you see keys ZSK and KSK. So one flow goes forward to KSK, another flow goes to ZSK. And he puts, looks like another article with a quote. I'm excited to see ICANN entering a new stage of its development. The end of the JPA means not only the end of one government oversight, but beginning of the true multi-stakeholders model, where each participant is sharing the same importance and has the opportunity to contribute to the governance of the internet. Affirmation of commitments. After a series of amendments to the MOU, the U.S. Department of Commerce and ICANN signed a joint long-standing affirmation of commitments that emphasizes multi-stakeholderism oversight. AOC called the periodic assessment by community review teams of ICANN's progress towards 4 key areas: accountability and transparency, security, stability, and resiliency, competition, consumer trust, consumer choice, and who is. Okay, so then on January 6, 2017, report, Russ interference in recent ability to select a president. According to CNN, C_A and F_I took Steele's dossier seriously enough that they kept it all out. The J6 2017 assignment in order not to divulge which parts of the dossier they have corroborated and how. You have this here, the intelligence community assessment, assessing Rus activities and intentions in recent selections. Right. Background to assessing Rus activities, intentions, and selections, an analytic process and cyber incident attribution. That's a shame that it was kept. Steele's dossier was so serious that it was kept out. So he's indicating that a lot of things occurred at this time, January 6, 2017. Jay Johnson designates election infrastructure, voting booths, and machines a matter of national security, making the machines and data proprietary as matters of national security. The State Department and DHS were also business partners with several voting COs. So you see that. And just a reminder, just make sure you guys are aware of maybe why this particular time frame is so pivotal. We're dealing with January 6th. So the date itself is now, it's kind of like in the public mind for a different reason. It's like we have the 2021 date of January 6th, but apparently 4 years prior, we had a date right before President Donald Trump was able to, get fully inaugurated. He was still president-elect. We had a lot of this stuff going on. And so this is apparently a very pivotal date. So let's take a look at this statement here at the highlights. It's the dates highlighted there. Public Law 107-317, .Kids Implementation and Efficiency Act of 2002, passed 2002. Give me one moment here. So this was a hearing on the Committee of Energy and Commerce, House of Representatives. So you have that there. Mysteriously, no laws referencing this .kids domain run by Newstar were ever published until USC 2018 edition and Supplement 2, Title 47, Telecommunications. It was passed in 2002. So then he says, from this, think Mueller Special Counsel. Your attention was instead turned to the drama, Hillary and Russ. Ignore the fact that Newstar also operates the TLD for Chin and New Level for Taiwan. And you have Melbourne IT as a part of JV team and a children's kid.us domain. And so through Internet Archive, he has this kids.us about Newstar. He highlights this. The registry gateway outside of China for the .cn top-level domain, joint venture with New Level, a subsidiary of Newstar. Then there's a neutrality statement. As a result of Telecommunications Act 1996, Newstar emerged as a neutral third party that facilitates competition across tightly regulated industry. A little odd. It just, the company branding itself as a neutral third party. It's kind of a red flag to me, but okay, let's keep going. So now that you've processed all that, back to the document posted earlier in the thread. This time we draw attention to 47 USC 902 and 47 USC 941, both highlighted. See the document. So we're looking at public law here. So here we have the NTIA authority, 47 USC. So that's what I read to you before. Notice 47 USC 941 child-friendly second-level internet domain. So you see that there? Child-friendly second-level internet domain. And 902 are tied to NTIA. You see, this is NTIA authority, and so you have following sections there. Suddenly, on January 13, 2021, both telecommunications citations go into full effect the same day Donald Trump is impeached in the House. All just a happy coincidence. So he shows this document here. And see, text is kind of small. But regardless, you can still appreciate at the bottom, child-friendly second internet domain. 1/13/2021 is the effective date of that. Establish assigned functions. 1/13/2021. To get the implications that this is somehow all planned. I don't know what this means exactly, the child-friendly second-level domain. I'm not sure if there's something I'm missing here. But it is interesting that it went into effect, when it was clear and obvious that Trump would be soon leaving office. Also, January 13th, 2021, the FEC attorneys suddenly reversed themselves and recommended the commission to take no further action against Chalupa or the DNC. Defending the DNC in the case was Clinton attorney Mark Elias, then Perkins Coie. So we're showing this. And and Perkins Coie, which refused to comply with the commission's subpoena for DNC depositions and documents, including phone records. And this is boxed, but on January 13, 2021, the date the House voted to impeach Trump over the issue on January 6, FEC attorneys suddenly reversed themselves and recommended the commission take no further action against Chalupa or the DNC. FEC commissioners closed the case, voting with the majority. Longtime Democrat Commissioner Winthrop dismissed the Uke DNC collusion allegations as Russ disinfo. Was that what this was about? I'm not sure. This whole potential collusion of DNC and Uke. Against, okay. Whoops. Kind of accidentally hit that there. I'm not sure who Chalupa is. That's a problem there. Let's see. Your ex-Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort was never charged with conspiring with Russia. He did go to jail for, among other things, failing to register as a foreign agent in Uke. The Democrat National Committee operatives have helped get him booted from the campaign. Should investigate it for sole violation, Republican senators say. Former DNC contractor and opposition researcher Ali Chalupa not only worked closely with the Ukrainian embassy and Clinton campaign, trading dirt on Manafort and Trump, but also Congress and the Obama White House, State Department, and even the FBI. At the center of Uke plan was Alexandra Chalupa. GOP Senator Chuck Grassley of the Senate Judiciary Committee has asserted. Chalupa's actions appear to show she was simultaneously working on behalf of a foreign government, Uke, and on behalf of DNC and Clinton campaign, in an effort to influence not only the U.S. voting population, but the U.S. government officials. Grassley said in the July 2017 letter to then Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. Shulup's actions implicate the Foreign Agents Registration Act, he said. It's imperative that the Justice Department explain why she has not been required to register under FARA. Chalup maintained that Justice looked into the complaint and cleared her within 4 months, including no FARA violations. Rosenstein at the time just appointed Special Counsel Robert Mueller to take over the Russiagate probe after reportedly considering invoking the 25th Amendment to remove Trump from office. So that's the connection there. So the media and Obama's outgoing NSC plus SC Robert Mueller were working overtime to label President Trump Putin's puppet and a Rus asset throughout his entire presidency. His first impeachment was due to withholding military aid to an invitation to White House to Ukrainian President VZ. And so we see this screenshot here. First impeachment Donald Trump, he boxes this. Trump's impeachment came after former House inquiry found that he had solicited foreign interference in the 2020 selection to help with his bid, and then obstructed the inquiry itself by telling his administration officials to ignore subpoenas for documents and testimony. The inquiry reported that Trump withheld military aid, and an investigation to the White House to Ukraine President Zelensky in order to influence Ukraine to announce an investigation into Trump's political opponent Joe, and to promote discredited theory that Ukraine, not Rus, was behind interference in the selection. Phone call between Trump and Zelensky on July 2019 was particularly important. Lieutenant Colonel Vindman was a participant in the call and later informed Congress, and has been kind of humiliated since. Single article of impeachment charging Trump with incitement against U.S. governments and lawless actions at the Capitol. They proceeded to take the impeachment to the Senate, even though Trump was out of office. Yeah, that's what happened. That's an history book now. Title 47, U.S. Code definition of foreign adversary. Did the United States House of Representatives plus one other government agency stir up all of this fuss, plus support in Ukraine to protect whatever documents President Donald Trump has in his possession? So he boxes this here. See, foreign adversary and defendant is defined in Title 47 as any foreign government or foreign non-government person engaged in a long-term pattern of serious instances of conduct significantly adverse to the national security of the U.S., or security of the safety of the United States persons. Parties may be designated as a foreign adversary by the Secretary of Commerce. Then we have NARA records of the Federal Reserve System, Title 47 telecommunications. As Section 510, forfeiture of communications devices. B, seizures. Admiralty and maritime claims by any district court of U.S. having jurisdictions over the property. So we have Title 47 shown for us here, and its chapters of that title. And then for forfeiture of communication devices, he has highlighted admiralty and maritime claims by any district court of the U.S. having jurisdiction over the property. The supplemental rules for certain admiralty and maritime claims refer to in subsection B. House committee asks National Archives to review Trump storage unit. Note the data below the image. Workers load boxes into a truck outside the Eisenhower Executive's Office building in the White House complex on January 14, 2021. Who is AS's number used by various routing protocols? DC to Chicago, to Colorado, upstream to AS 7786, just Sweden, Ericsson's home country. So the routing apparently goes to Sweden using Whois. It's org name Newstar, AS name NPAC. And here you have the description: Telecompany AB Sweden. There's a country there for this designation. So then he quote tweets a previous thread posted May 11, 2022. This is a thread that further elaborates on January 5th and 6th of 2017 and the Obama administration's knack for coincidentally removing entire laws from the Federal Register, even taken online through the Telecoms Act of 1996 signed in cyberspace. What is on kids.us NPAC domain? That's what I was asking earlier. Other than Obama's digital and presidential archives, the missing JFK files, and other tiebacks to the Obama Foundation and NARA. And so here's a thread posted on Christmas of last year. Why did Obama have a Ameritech email address in October of 2008? Ameritech was defunct in 2002. Why did the U.S. Senator have private email address that ties back to AT&T? Why does that same email address track back to NARA and Obama library? So here, WikiLeaks, got diversity, Obama, Ameritech, CC, John Podesta, I guess we all know him, Valerie Jarrett, we know her, date 10/6/2008. So yeah, from Obama to these, from city to Obama, Brock, first name basis. Following up on your conversations with John Podesta, I assume, over the weekend, attached to two documents. A list of African-American, Latino, and Asian-American candidates divided between cabinet deputy under assistant deputy, assistant secretary levels, as well as lists of senior Native Americans, Arab Muslim Americans, and disabled Americans. We have longer lists, but there are candidates whose names have been recommended by a number of sources for senior level jobs in a potential administration. A list of women similarly divided between candidates for cabinet deputy and other senior level positions. Please let us know if you have any questions. Mike Froman. So here we have 3 of 5, 5I public D class, way bigger than Snowden. Follow us at plus Ultra Intel for more. So great Twitter to follow there for more info there. Yeah, I think that pretty much concludes the thread. So we'll take a look at the comments here. So Luke says, Michael Khoury is a brilliant researcher. He indeed is. Connie says, Ericsson merged with Sony in 2001. Wonder how that figures into this mess. Kathleen says, contracts with CrowdStrike and Newstar signed privately with an individual and Secretary of State, DA, and Board of Electors in swing states. Kathleen says, then they had access to all our information remotely 24/7, 365. Yes, that is the case. Luke agrees, yes. Yeah, pretty wild, the situation there. So this is a thread that I may have to look more closely into next time, explaining the importance of the kids.us NPAC domain. Yeah, but this is a good expose of things that are hidden from the public generally. I mean, we have articles being posted all the time about different aspects of the recent events, but we don't really see how disparate events such as Obama's activity versus Trump's impeachment process, how these things can be connected. It's great that Michael is drawing these threads through this company News Star. So I think I'll go ahead and end this stream here. Thank you guys for watching.